Have you ever clicked buy on something online and then a few days later, a package just shows up? It feels like magic. But between that click and your doorbell ringing, there's this whole invisible journey of information. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how businesses actually map out that chaos to make it all work. And that right there is the million-dollar question. I mean, if a business can't even see its own processes, how is it supposed to improve them? Things get lost. Orders, invoices, you name it. It's all just symptoms of a workflow that nobody really gets. So how do you make all that invisible stuff visible? Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. They draw maps. Not maps of countries or cities, but maps of processes. These diagrams are basically the blueprints that turn a tangled web of tasks into a nice, clear path. We're going to break down 3 of the most important maps that businesses use every single day. Okay, first up, we're going to put on our detective hats. But we're not looking for clues at a crime scene. We're tracing the path of data. And our tool for the job, it's called a data flow diagram, or DFD for short. You can think of a DFD like a map of a river. It doesn't show you the boats or the cargo, just the water itself. It tracks where the data comes from, the path it takes, how it gets changed along the way, and where it finally ends up. It's a pure, no-frills, bird's-eye view of the information's journey. And the best part is, a DFD uses a really simple visual language. See the squares? Those are the outsiders, like a customer, who either send data in or get data out. The rounded rectangles? Those are the action steps. That's where data gets changed somehow. Arrows, well, they just show which way the data is flowing. And these open-ended rectangles, just think of them as filing cabinets or databases, places where data gets stored. And that's pretty much it. Making one is pretty logical. First, you figure out your start and end points. You know, who's involved. Then you map out the big, important steps where things actually happen. After that, you point out where all the information gets filed away. And finally, you just draw the arrows to connect all the dots. It's a super powerful way to see the whole information journey at a glance. So let's make this real. We'll trace a simple customer order. Everything kicks off right here. A customer, our external entity, sends their order information into the system. And bam, that data immediately triggers a process. The system receives the order. That action, in turn, kicks off another process. Prepare invoice. You can already see how the data is changing, right? It's evolving from just a request into an actual financial document. And to finish it off, that new invoice data is used to update the company's books, and it comes to rest in the customer ledger data store. And just like that, we've mapped the entire logical trip of that customer's data, from the moment they sent it to the moment it was stored. Okay, so the DFD is perfect for tracking that invisible data. But a lot of businesses still run on actual physical stuff, paper forms, printed reports. To follow that trail, we need a totally different kind of map. It's called the document flowchart. Right, so where the DFD followed the data, this chart follows the paper. It's all about tracking a real document as it gets passed around from desk to desk, department to department. This map is all about who physically touches what and where it goes next. The symbols here are a lot more grounded in the real world. You've got your icons for the actual documents, symbols for filing cabinets, and this is the important one, these diamond shapes. A diamond represents a crossroads, a decision point. Think, is this invoice approved? Yes or no? That's a moment where the document's journey could split and go down a completely different path. Building one of these is kind of like setting up a relay race. You give each department its own swimming lane on the chart. Then you trace the path of the document, which is like the baton, as it gets passed from one lane to the next, showing every single handoff. So let's see it in action. Let's say an employee needs a new computer. They fill out a physical paper form, a purchase requisition. That piece of paper then starts its journey, moving from their desk over to the official purchase department for them to take a look. And that one piece of paper kicks off a whole chain reaction of other paperwork. The purchase department creates a purchase order. When the computer arrives, the warehouse fills out a goods received note. And finally, the accounting department bundles it all together to create a payment voucher. Every single document is a crucial link in the chain, creating a physical paper trail you can follow. All right, so we've mapped the abstract data flow and we've mapped the physical paper trail, but what about when you need to see how they all interact with the technology? To see the whole picture, people, paper, and computers all working together, you need the master blueprint, the system's flowchart. This is the big kahuna. If a DFD is a map of the rivers and a document flowchart is a map of the roads, then the system's flowchart is the full satellite view showing how the rivers, roads, and cities all connect. It maps the entire sequence of operations, from someone typing something in to a computer processing it to a final report being printed. The symbols here tell the full story. The ovals are your start and finish lines. Rectangles are where the computer does the heavy lifting, all the number crunching. The cylinders, that's the system's memory, its databases. And this funky parallelogram, that's the payoff. That's the final output, whether it's a report on your screen or a physical payslip in your hand. Building this master blueprint means starting big. First, you have to draw a boundary around what you're mapping, what's in the system and what's out. Then, you identify every piece inside that boundary, all the inputs, all the computer processes, and all the final outputs. Then, you just arrange it all in logical order, telling the complete story of the system from A to Z. A payroll system is the perfect example, right? The input is the employee's timesheets. The process is the computer calculating the pay and taking out taxes. The storage is the payroll database where the info is saved. And the output? A nice printed payslip. The entire operation, from start to finish, laid out in one clear flow. So, after all that, how do you know which map to use? Well, it really just comes down to one question. What are you trying to follow? If you're following the invisible trail of data, you grab a DFD. If you're following the physical paper trail, you need a document flowchart. And if you need to see how the whole system works together, then you bring out the big guns, the systems flowchart. This table really breaks it down perfectly. You can almost think of it as a journey. You start with a conceptual DFD to analyze a new idea. Then you might use an operational document flowchart to audit how things are actually working right now, in the real world. And finally, you use a super detailed systems flowchart to design and build the brand new, improved system. Each map has its own specific job to do. So why do people go to all this trouble? Well, because these maps let a business truly see itself, maybe for the first time. They are absolutely essential for designing better systems, for spotting those annoying bottlenecks, for training new people, and for preventing really expensive mistakes. At the end of the day, they make the invisible visible. So next time you're stuck in some kind of chaotic process, whether it's trying to manage your own budget or just planning a complicated trip, ask yourself, what are the invisible steps that are tripping me up? And how much clearer would everything be if I just took a minute to draw the map?